Hi, everybody. Gina Virginia Casella here, and thank you so much for tuning in. Yesterday was such an incredible day. I'm still processing it myself. It was hands down phenomenal. I've got Julia Ankerhaven with me and Michael Kopp, actually. It's his birthday today, too, so happy birthday to Michael. But before I bring Julia and Michael to the stage, I want to read my post that I sent out in Buy Me a Coffee this morning. All right, so this is what I wrote. I got it here on my cell phone. And just a reminder, it's absolutely free to follow me on Buy Me a Coffee, and then you get in on all the email hype. So yesterday was hands down fan-fucking-tastic, right? I'm still processing it. I knew it was going to be an amazing day, but by the end of the day, I was just absolutely speechless. And for me to be speechless, let's not kid ourselves. I always have something to say, right? And so yesterday there was an abundance of integrity, honor, respect, sharing out, heartfelt kindness, connecting, humility, and so much more. And I was really thrilled. Some of the Dragon Dreamers, they were tuning in with us right from 8 a.m. right up until we closed everything. And so that was just such an amazing feeling for me. I really couldn't have done this without everybody involved, including folks who are out there participating in the chat. Even today, catching the replay, we've had more than 500 viewers, more like 600 now this morning. And so it's never about the quantity, it's always about the quality. And we're a high quality soul collective. And so I'm really thankful. We had quite a lot of flow yesterday. We were committed to our schedule. I've got it here. It's just really messy looking now, but it really paid to pay off. And it was a thrill for me personally because I've never done something like this completely on my own. And so my own high quality items carrying forward from my teaching career. And yesterday was also thrilling because we had Dragon Dreamers from various communities connecting with each other in the chat. And we also had new dragons who never heard about us before, who randomly saw the advertisement, ended up joining with us, and now they're feeling really connected. So that's just amazing because that's what it's all about. And I also noticed in the chat, there was a point where I don't think people were shy. I feel like people just weren't sure how to ask a question, how to blatantly just ask something, And so Julia Ankerhaven, our Dragon Dreams monitor, she was really great about just getting like all the information from the chat and formulating one question on behalf of everybody, So I really appreciated that. And the presenters, they were very open and continue to be open to answering any and all your questions. So make sure you connect with them. Their links were provided. And also just the vulnerability on the presenter's part to be so open to sharing everything. Each presenter could have easily, talked for hours more. And this, to me, this timelessness that we experienced together really meant the world to me. And I had a little laugh too, because when I was opening Sacred Space yesterday, I had a little moment where I forgot I was live. And then I remember thinking, oh, shoot, I better wrap this up. Because when I open Sacred Space at home, I add in my 2 cents about this and that. And I remember thinking for the conference, I had the opening prayer right in front of me to help me stay on track. And still I was slipping into timelessness. And so just laughing it off with Brian in particular yesterday, Brian Rue, because we can talk about timelessness, but time is not an illusion to the biological one. And so yesterday, it's with a big heartfelt thank you to everybody involved, because I appreciate greatly the commitment behind the scenes. The behind the scenes, unless you've been involved in leadership, administration, or you personally have presented, you really have no idea the behind the scenes involvement. And people in the chat yesterday were getting a taste of that too. And some people sent me a private message saying, congratulations. And I wasn't expecting that. Congratulations. And I thought, yeah, this is something to celebrate, because there's a lot of layers to celebrate, but just my own matrix and moving forward in my life and following the the call, if you will, and doing this. I mean, I thought I might be a speaker at conferences, but I didn't think I would be actually hosting. And this is the first of many more to come. And so, thank you for putting up with my crap. And thank you for believing in the co-dream, for believing in us, and for being part of this great unfolding, and for just trusting in the process. Because, in my head, it all made sense, but the presenters really had to just kind of trust and take a leap of faith, showing up and sending me their videos behind the scenes. And so yesterday I felt really encouraged to host an in-person this summer. So I'm going to do it this summer anyways. I don't care how big the crowd is. Let's do it this summer. So the next conference is Saturday, June 13th. And not today, but on a different live, I'll start highlighting all the things to come. But today I'd like to bring some people to the stage. We've got Rick Gallagher with us, Michael Kopf, and also Julia Ankerhaven. So I'm going to bring them all up at the same time, and we need to be mindful to mute our microphones when everybody is speaking. And somebody that I would like to hear from first actually is from Rick, because Rick was the most studious out of everybody. And he actually was the first person, like I put the call out. If anybody wants to be involved, get in touch with me, right? And Rick responded like that day, the next day. I told him, I said, I'm going to need videos in advance. He sent them to me pretty much right away. That weekend, he sent me a copy of Sue Gallagher's book. And then out of everybody, he's the one who had issues with his microphone. So we still got to enjoy Rick's healing sound bowls. But how are you doing this morning, Rick?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but we can't see you.
That's okay. I'm in my grubbies.
Fair enough.
So bottom line is it went very well. I'm glad I pre-recorded it. When I pre-recorded it, I used an external camera with an external mic, and we decided after the tech review to use the internal camera with the internal mic, and it didn't work. So I know how to do it next time. I was really set up for the 5:30. I thought I was online, but you didn't see me. So next time I'm using the external camera with the external mic. But what I am proposing is in live sessions like TV and stuff, you have a green room. And if we had a monitor, we can go into a green room and test our sound and video offline of the conference. I don't know how to work that, but that's what I'm proposing, so that the next person up knows that they're ready to go, and it doesn't interfere with the person that's presenting. So other than that comment, everything went fabulous. What a long day you had yesterday. Oh my goodness, that was a long day. I thought that you'd be sleeping for 2 days afterwards. So you did a fab job. And thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you for being a part of it. And I hear you on the green room. Now, there is a feature on here called green screen or something like that, but I haven't explored it. And I wonder if maybe that's something to consider. Because I get you, like at the theater, behind the curtain, behind the stage where the audience can't see, it's called the green room. And that's where clothes are just everywhere for everybody who's presenting and whatnot. And yeah, that definitely would be helpful. The private chat is handy, but even on my end, it's a bit tricky. Private chat, the regular comments. So definitely need a team. And on that note, I'm in search of a Dragon Dreams executive committee if anybody wants to be on it. And it's possible, no pressure, but it's possible that Rick might even be a speaker at our next conference, because Rick is an abundance of knowledge, a real wealth of knowledge, a fountain of knowledge of Tibetan singing bowls. And just to think, even just talking about the difference between the the metal tin ones compared to these glass ones, Rick had a lot of insight just in conversation. Um, so I think Rick could easily do like 20 presentations. So that's really exciting. Yeah, any other comments from you, Rick, before we move on to Anchor Haven or Michael?
No, other than I think that your green thing that this screen offers is a green background, is a drop scheme, but it doesn't offer necessarily. We have to do some research to find out how to be in a separate room for a tech review. But I think it's good. I think it's great, and I think having a backup is over the top wonderful. So, thank you. Did she hear me?
This morning I was in party mode. I yesterday I actually skimmed through the whole conference, and it was way past my bedtime. And then this morning I woke up and I was super hyper, and then I fell asleep and I woke up like 10 minutes before we were live right now. So I think today is definitely going to be a rest day. And I see Sue's just logged on too. So I'm going to bring Sue's to the stage. But Julia, you're to my right. So I think I'm just going to go left to right here on my view while I simultaneously bring Sue's up. So how are you doing, Julia?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I was very tired after yesterday though, because like 10 hours online, and but it was such a fun day. And then afterwards I went to try and do my regular moderation job, which is on Typical Skeptic podcast, and I couldn't do it. I was so tired. So I lasted about 20 minutes or something, and then I had to sleep, and then I do lives early morning on my channel. So yeah, so I'm feeling fresh today. I'm feeling good. I think the singing bowls definitely helped refresh our energy throughout the day, so that was good. All of the speakers were good. We had an excellent day. So it was very well produced. You did really well.
Thank you for that. And Michael, how are you doing today? Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I'm doing well. I just woke up myself, and I will say, to answer about the green room, there is one on StreamYard. It costs money to have it and run it, and you have to have someone who's running it while the live is going on. And I was on a panel for a New Year's show, and they had set up the green room, but we could not make it work. It is super complicated. And so that is one thing that in theory sounds great, but in operation still I think has a lot of bugs in it. And so yeah, everybody that has it says, yeah, I got to go back and replay with it because we thought we knew what we were doing with it and nothing worked. So, but with that being said, I was before the conference telling everyone to tune in and watch because you were doing things that I thought were absolutely brilliant behind the scenes before the conference started, and I was telling everyone this is going to be a great fluid conference because she has seen everything that glitches with other conferences and has made things to fix it. Like if there's a tech issue, we had videos to play so everything stayed on time, and you did it. That's the amazing thing. And so yeah, I feel honored and blessed to have been a part of it, and to be able to be a presenter for the first time. You made it so comfortable, and I was actually even talking with Julia beforehand about going, oh, I got a little bit of nerves coming in, and what am I going to do? I'm hoping I switch into my normal mode on screen because I put all my nerves aside, and you helped me do that, actually, Gina, and allowing me the freedom of, we had one glitch before the tech review where I sent you my videos and then I went in and put it back to presentation mode. And it deleted on your end too. And you're like, you didn't send me video. And I was like, what? And so I had to redo it. But thank you for your patience as well.
You are welcome. It was a thrill. And, both you and Brian are hosts. And then it's weird when the host is in the position of guest all of the sudden, right?
It
So
is
it
very
was
weird because when you're saying, oh, how do I do this? Or, oh, this is going on. I'm so used to having the buttons to turn it off or make it happen. And I was like, there was one moment where you're like, oh, I accidentally have the chat room on the screen. And I kept looking around and going, where is that? I know how to turn that off. But in guest mode, I can't do that, so the option wasn't there to tell you how to do it. And I was like, oh man, how do I do that? Because I did that once by mistake, and I was like, oh, it just is. Yeah, it's a little frustrating too at times because the accesses and prompts are not the same.
absolutely. And I'm just noticing there's some happy birthday wishes coming in from the chat too, Michael. And I thought I saw Jason in here. Yes, he is. Hi, Jason. Welcome back. And Jason randomly was monitoring with us too yesterday. And so that was really great. I really appreciate that, Jason. And yesterday we also had a tech issue because I couldn't pull up Sue's. I could pull it up, but I couldn't share screen the little one's diary.com. And just for a moment, I thought, uh-oh, here we go. And then my screen was on reverse, but then I don't know, the power of Julia and Jason, somehow those forces were able to make it work. Suze, how are you doing today? We can't hear you.
Right. Can you hear me now? Happy birthday, Michael. I hope it's wonderful, and I hope the coming year is filled with joy, delight, and wonderment. And I'm doing great today. I thought yesterday, I just want to add my congratulations. What an absolutely fabulous, fabulous day it was. And I felt so honored to be in the presence of so many really amazing speakers. The guests, to be included in that company was just so beautiful. And I just want to say that the conference was fabulous, regardless of it being a first. I don't want to add the first because that kind of takes away from the fact that if this were your 100th, it was still absolutely fabulous and, from my mind, flawless, because even though there were teeny tiny glitches along the way, that did not in any way impact the overall delivery of the conference to the viewer. And it did not take you off your game. Your presence, your poise, your power, to keep with the P theme, was palpable. It was you in your sovereignty, in your power, and it was magnificent to behold. And so I'm so honored to have been a part of that. But wow, wow, wow.
Wow, thank you so much, Suze. Just amazing feedback for me. This conference, you're right. I'd appreciate you saying that because there's hype because it's the first ever, right? But aside from the first ever, it was hands down a phenomenal conference too. So thank you for saying that, And this conference was important to set precedents so people know what to expect now for future conferences, because there's going to be 4 online every year and 1 in-person pending, which this year I will be having one. So I'm really excited about that. We're just hanging out live here, chit-chatting away. But I thought I would go through the presenters one by one, just in case anybody wanted to make random comments or if somebody in the chat wanted to comment. But starting with Rick Gallagher, because he was healing bowls. So I know Julia is a big fan of the healing bowls. At one point in the comments, Julia, you commented that you put your feet on the floor and you could feel the vibrations. And I was hopeful you could just speak to that a bit, because a lot of people don't think about doing that kind of stuff, like really embracing and I'm just getting excited. I'll let Julia talk.
So no, I was just adding in general guidance into the chat for people who might not have experienced a sound bath before, to kind of close their eyes, take a few deep breaths, get themselves grounded or relaxed. So I was putting that in every time we did the bowls, just so that people could understand that it's not something to sit there and watch, it's something to lay back and experience, and to take that time to relax. So that's what I was putting in the chat to support Rick's videos.
Yeah, and I noticed too somewhere in the chat, Julia, you were commenting that you felt really relaxed, and that meant a lot to me, because I was concerned that maybe the beginning of the conference was a little bit too slow going, but I thought, you know what, I want people to sink into the present moment, and if people fall asleep on the couch for the rest of the day, then that's arguably, what they need to do. So, any other thoughts, Julia?
Well, I thought it was really well paced. I thought everybody was quite engaged and following along, and and it was a really good conference. It wasn't too fast or too slow. We all kept going, and we stuck it out for 10 hours. So it was so good that we kept everyone engaged for 10 hours. That's amazing. Yeah.
And actually, Julia, scooch a little bit to the right, because, a little bit back to the left. Right there. On the cell phone view, you're a little bit cut off. Hi, Rick. We can see your face. I guess you took over for Suze there on the computer. We're just going through the speakers there. If anybody wanted to comment about the sound bowls, do you have any comments, Rick?
There were several questions, and so I thought I would write up a write-up on it and say, counterclockwise is the back, clockwise is the front. I have a healing process that I address both the back and the front at the same time. There are so many interesting things about the bowls. I think the timing was just right. It wasn't too long. So I thought it went well, and I think the timing is good. I don't think it's too long or too short. And the little glitches and the little gotchas in it should be there. So we got it on tape, and I guess it's perfect.
Yeah, it is. And thank you for answering that. And do you want to talk just for a minute about the difference between the metal bowls and the glass bowls, and why you were inspired to switch over? I thought it was interesting, your comment that you shared in the chat yesterday.
Well, my metal bowls, I'm trained to surround the body with between 12 and 20 bowls. And, you start with the head, but you do the heart across the hands, across the hips, across the feet and the legs. But bottom line is, there's two interesting things about metal bowls. Number one, they have a personality. So they will play when they want to play, and they won't play when they don't want to play. And they also will squelch when they want to squelch. So when you're singing a metal bowl, you spin it around and around, and every once in a while, it will just screech. Now, sometimes it means to slow down, and sometimes it means the bowl's not happy, but it has a personality. The biggest thing about the metal bowls is they're big and heavy. So moving them from place to place is far more difficult. Sue's got me a set of 7 crystal bowls. I put them aside for several months because I don't like the sound of crystal bowls very much. But I started playing them, and they're perfect, and they sing all the time, and they're very light and easy to move. Now, they're also very fragile. So there's trade-offs. But if I was going for bowls, I would start with metal bowls. Number one, because the older ones, especially when you really study them, when they make them, they put a prayer in them. So when they sing, they're singing out that prayer that was put in them from the start. And the crystal bowls don't have that. So I would encourage, and I also encourage people to play with different sounds. So your body has a frequency. It could be when you're singing that you find a resonant frequency, but your body has a frequency. Finding that frequency and then finding a bowl that matches that frequency is instrumental. You know, every chakra has a frequency, but your body has one. And so playing them, I would never buy one online unless I've heard it and played it myself. So what's nice about some of the online stores is you can go and you can push play and you can listen to them. So that's kind of what I do. But my first balls, I always pick them up and play them, see if they feel good, see if they sing. A bowl may sing for me and may not sing for somebody else. So it's like, okay, does this bowl like you or doesn't it like you? And it's kind of that feel you get. So that's all I have to say. But yes, I would definitely encourage people to go around and shop and play different bowls, and anything from the very small ones to the very, very large ones. They get very, 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 very deep.
But they're not tin.
But there's 5 to 7 metals, and they lost the recipe for these in 1930s. So going back and finding something before the 1930s is a really good find in a metal ball. Thank you. I'm back to Suze.
Yeah. Welcome back, Suze. That was great information, Rick. Suze, do you have anything to say about Rick's singing bowls? We're just going one by one. Rick was first on the list. You get to hear it all the time at home.
Yes. I love when Rick plays the bowls, and I love when Rick and so I wanted to tell you this. Your cat is named Rosie, but our dog is named Rosie. And she's just a delight. And Rosie loves the bowls. Now, when Rick was playing, he still has probably 80 metal bowls. He sold off a large part of his collection. But when he uses bowls, with the metal bowls, he actually puts the bowls on the body so that the vibration goes all the way through. The other thing I wanted to say about the bowls is that they're just magic. And when Rick plays the bowls, or does a sound bath, also with his tuning forks, because he uses tuning forks as well. It's just such a magical experience. And he is a fount of information. And he does everything from dowsing to energy healing to everything else. He's a little wizard.
You said 80, and I'm just thinking, like, where do you store all of this? Because I noticed in the background, it looks like you have a beautiful teapot collection. Like, are some of those teapots need to be sacrificed to make space for the singing bowls?
They've been stored in plastic bins.
Well, some of them are stored in plastic bins, and then we have some on display that he uses for day-to-day healing. But we do have a healing room.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's ideal. Just like a music room, you need a healing room. Yeah. Yeah, I used to have a spare room. Half was an office, and then half was like a dance area, stretch healing kind of. Mm-hmm. So depended on how my camera was turned, it was a completely different world. Like, well, that was amazing insight.
Gina, your mic cut out.
That was me that time. I forgot to. Sometimes it's the user. It was me that time. The next thing that was on the list was me. When I welcomed people, I lit candles. So if somebody wants to talk, the rest of us need to be muted. So just give me a wave if you want to talk. But does anybody have anything to say about when we lit the candles together, or sacred space, the journey to the pine tree forest? And Julia, I saw your hand waving there. I'll mute myself.
So what I loved was you doing the fire water type thing, the breath. I love that. That's amazing. It's so great to see you do that. Because I do a similar method for opening sacred space, but I don't do anything like that. So that really impressed me, and I was really excited about it. Yeah.
Are you talking about the spirit water, the flora? Oh, let's just do a quick blow for Julia. I don't know if you can hear us. To the south. Yeah, you know what? I used to be kind of shy about this, but we do it in shamanic training. And before I did my shamanic training, I remember thinking, like, who am I to do this? And you know what? Anybody can do it. You don't have to wait for special training. So I like to use vodka. You don't drink it, you spit it out. And you just mix flowers with it. Mix some flowers, pour some vodka. Mix some flowers, pour some vodka. Add essential oils if you want. Let it sit for 1, 2, 3 days. Some people let it sit for a few weeks, but I don't like it after a few days, honestly. And that's it. And now I do it, and it's just so natural, right? And I remember when I first started, it was kind of gross. It would go everywhere, like I wasn't doing it right. So thank you for that. That's really great. Okay, anybody else want to comment on lighting candles, opening sacred space, or pine tree forest? Okay, Michael, you're up.
I just wanted to share that it was great to see you being authentically you and guiding us through everything as you would, doing your own setup for your own personal stuff or your mini gemstone readings. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your authenticity and giving a great talk as well, and doing a great job of presenting and hosting. Not many people can do that, so hats off to you, and I bow to your talent. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that. Suze, you got to scooch a little bit to the left. There you go. Okay, now we can see you. See, there's two views. There's the nice big view, that's my preference. And then there's the teeny tiny cell phone view. Sometimes too, I'm like this and people comment to that I need to scooch over. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Okay, then it's Rick again on the list. We already talked about Rick. Then it's my presentation. So, I mean, you don't have to comment on anything, but just going in order. The Gnome King, did anything I say, does anybody have anything to say about my presentation? No, skipping over it. Okay, the next one is Michael, the power of mythos and the hero's journey. I know I always have something to say, but does anybody want to give me a wave about that? Or okay, Julia, you're up.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good and I was talking to Michael about this the other day when we did a show, but I think of the hero's journey when we do tarot. So you're going from that novice to mastery. So it was really interesting to see the different perspectives that he was bringing forward and then relating it back into his personal experience. So I think, and I was watching the chat and everybody really enjoyed it. And he's very calming. His voice is so calming, Michael. You're so calming. So yeah, so no, it was great. Yeah, it was really lovely. And for a first time, like proper PowerPoint presentation, I thought it came across very well. Yes, there you go.
And if anybody in the comments wants to comment on any of the presentations, please do. I'm just following the schedule from yesterday just to kind of keep things in order here. And I think, Suze, was your hand waving? Okay, Suze, you're up.
Okay. I just wanted to say, number one, what a powerful presenter Michael is. And I could listen to your voice for hours. It's just soothing. It's knowledgeable. It's personable. It's like I wanted to sit across the table from you with a cup of coffee and learn from you. So that was just a delight. And when you factor in the topic that is just so powerful, the hero's journey, and just the invitation to view ourselves as the hero, as being on a heroic journey, that we are all the heroes of our own lives is so powerful. And I just loved it. I loved everything about it. And I can't wait to see more of your podcasts and your YouTube channel. So thank you, Michael. And I'm so grateful to Gina for introducing us to each other, to all of the presenters. That was a wonderful gift as well, Gina. And you being your authentic self, absolutely. I loved the Gnome King. I love that story. I love the story of your gemstones, and your authenticity is number one. That was the linchpin that held everything together, is you showing up as your authentic self without any subterfuge, without any camouflage. You showed up, and that's what made the magic.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that comment, Suze. I'm still buzzing from yesterday. It was such a great day. I think it's going to take a good week just to kind of let it all settle in. Okay, so let's keep moving on here. The next person to present was Brian Rue on community. Give me a wave if anybody wants to talk about that. And anybody in the chat, if you want to comment specifically about Brian's presentation, let us know in the chat. And just before I let Julia speak, I had the comments on the side of the stage, but then it blocks Michael out. So I do see them. Just so folks out there, I do see your comments there. Okay, Julia, it's your turn to shine.
Okay, so Brian Rue, when it said community on the lineup, I had no idea, because I didn't really do any research into who he was, because his channel's not very detailed. I had no idea he was talking about UFO community. So that was such a treat for everybody when we realized that, because we're all real UFO and paranormal nuts in the chat. So yeah, we're brilliant. I threw in some, really tricky questions, and he handled it, no problem. Yeah, he was great. And then the same questions went on to the next speaker as well, which was pretty good. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I was really impressed by Brian Rue, and I'd like to hear a lot more from him, actually. I think I would. It'd be great. Yeah.
Brian, like once you get him talking about the ET agenda, and he knows all the categories and histories, and he's very well networked. Like Brian is in his mid 60s, and he's been doing this since his teenager years, like his whole life. But it was he was like a 17-year-old when his experiences really started to escalate. And oh yeah, have him as a guest, be a guest on his show. He does this like every day, every day. Anybody else want to comment on Brian's presentation before we move on? All right, let's move on. I know sometimes when one person comments, it's kind of on behalf of everybody, so we don't need to be, reiterating all the information. Okay, the next one was Chris Latour, MK Ultra Monarch survivor and former Montauk boy, Chris Latour. Anybody have anything? Julia, you're up, and then we'll go to Mike.
So yeah, I'm only a little bit familiar with Chris's work, because we're basically colleagues from a similar field, and he's into things that I'm not really that exploring myself right now. But I really appreciated that he took the time to answer the questions that I'd given the speaker before. And he gave great answers. So I did appreciate that. And he's very good at what he does. He speaks quite clearly. So yeah, it was a good talk. For me personally, I found it a bit too emotional, because I'm literally in that stage of my memory recovery journey. So Montauk is a hot topic for me. But I thought he was very good. And I know the chat really liked what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday in the chat, that's when people were getting a bit weirded out about how to ask questions. And then thankfully, Julia was able to step in because, I don't think people are shy. I think they're just not sure. They're not certain. And even though Chris is open to answering questions, you don't want to like trigger him either. But he's a really great example of the healed healer. Like he can talk about it. I mean, obviously, his life is not perfect. He's still overcoming things. But I always appreciate him as a speaker. And And as soon as I mentioned that people were feeling maybe a bit shy, his whole energy like softened, like the dad in him came out, where it was like, it's okay, you know, like that gentle masculine. I don't know if anybody else picked that up, but yeah, I was really thankful for it too. And often folks like Chris get exploited. People want to know about the violence, they want to hear about the blood and gore. And he doesn't really talk about that. He talks about the overall arching themes and keeps the emphasis on community. So clearly, I always have lots to say. But Michael, you're the birthday boy. You were giving us a wave about the presentation. What are your thoughts?
Well, first, I wanted to thank you for having him on, because I've had him as a guest on my show, and it's a topic that people are somewhat afraid to hear, or somewhat, give a lot of disbelief to, and there's a lot of trolls that come out when those topics come up. And so when I saw he was presenting, I was like, ooh, I was like in my mind going, extra protection. Let's, give him the safe space. And you did. And he did a great job presenting. It was as if he was on a podcast show. And not to reiterate, but I agree with Anchor that, yeah, he is a great source of information and has that recall that is amazing, and openness to share is really touching and really draws people in. And so, yeah, I just really want to thank you for giving him the space to be on the conference and on your Story Species Story Medicine show. So thank you, Gina.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of Story Species Story Medicine, Extra Strength, Michael is going to be a guest on Tuesday. So today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday, and then Tuesday. So we have time to breathe. And so that's really exciting too. So the intention is that all of the speakers, they come and be a guest on Story Species Story Medicine. I am targeting published authors, but if you're not published, whatever. I feel like somebody like Alex Lipton being on my show actually pushed him to publish, because he mentioned it, and then I had an expectation that he was going to publish a book, and then he didn't publish it. And so it's like I feel like this is a real positive push from the universe. So that's really great. Suze, did you want to comment on Chris's presentation, or you want me to move on? The next person to present was do you want to comment, Suze?
I only wanted to comment how much I appreciate Chris's courage and his resilience and his authenticity and his willingness to share. That's huge. And what a gift to all of us to share his experiences so that we may benefit from his pain and his recovery. And as one heals, we all heal. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yes, and I'm sure he'll catch this episode at some point, and these messages will be so meaningful to him. The next person on the list was Alex Lipton, The Administration of Belief, Monotheism Origins. That presentation for me opened up a can of worms, in a positive way, because I like thinking, and I like how Alex, he's really good with vocabulary, and he's not shy to use it. And sometimes when he's speaking, I'm like, wait, what does that word mean again? And it's interesting because he can connect it, I forget what he said now, but he was like, in conclusion, in conclusio, or something like that. And connection to movies. And as soon as movies come up, everybody starts resonating, right? So does anybody want to give me a wave on Alex or Julia? All right, Julia.
So on behalf of the chat, everybody was raving about him. They absolutely loved him. He was on fire. There was fire emojis all through the chat, and he's definitely got a passion that came forward. I'm not really into that particular topic much myself, but I do get told that my divinity is mixed. So I've got, say, you know, Egyptian and Hindu and things. So it was interesting for me, but I know the chat was really kind of locked in and they felt very inspired by Alex. I love it when he talks about movies. That's when I get excited, because the video shaman, he knows a lot about movies. So every time we mention movies, he brought me back in. It was so good. Yeah, it was a great one.
I can see Alex being a guest on your show multiple times just to talk about multiple topics, and even being like movie Mondays every Monday with Alex or something like that. He would love it, you know. Yeah. Anybody else want to speak to Alex's presentation? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like, All right, Suze, you're up.
Okay, I just wanted to say I was so engaged in Alex's presentation that I wanted to find a way to tell you he can have my spot if he'll just keep talking, because I would cheerfully have yielded the floor to Alex because I was mesmerized by him.
And you know, Alex has a background in movie making, and so what do people like Alex do with artificial intelligence, right? Well, hopefully he'll help manifest the Dragon Dreams movie series. But you know what? After making those little videos on Canva, I feel really hopeful, and I can appreciate why people like Alex, it's like they have to consider a whole new career, but maybe his new career could just be talking about the movies, you know, because it seems like there's a need just to bridge movie language with everyday language, and also the myths and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun, like just his title, the very title of the presentation, The Administration of Belief, instead of it being the biology of belief. And it's easy to see the different avenues that one presentation, just one title, opens up the door to so many things. So that was really awesome. Okay, the next person was Suze Gallagher, Dreaming Ourselves Awake, Answering the Invitation. That was hands down a phenomenal presentation, and really great synchronicity how it ended the conference too, right? Because I felt like as the presentations went on, it wasn't intentional, but they all seemed to lead into each other. And like Julia commented earlier, even the questions from the chat were being carried over. So that was really great. And just for a second, I was worried about you, Suze, because I thought, oh no, her slideshow isn't working. I thought that's why you weren't changing it, but it's just you weren't ready to change it. So I'm sorry for interrupting you when you were presenting. But your presentation, that could be a book, I felt like, that somebody could pick up and read. I got a strong sense that you probably taught courses on that, and it was easy for you to pull the information. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it, every moment of that. Anybody else want to speak to Sue's presentation? Okay, Michael, I saw your hand first.
Wow, I beat Julia. No, Suze, I wanted to say your presentation was really powerful and really deep, and I was curious, and I was grateful my question got asked about the different versions of, you know, stuff that we can do at night, like dream or lucid dream and astral traveling, and I thought the way you approached the answer was phenomenal, because you not only stated what each version was, but then you put it into experience that you came from. And so I thought that was really an amazing way to answer that and to bring the information forward. So thank you for that, Suze.
Yeah, great feedback. Julia, what are your comments?
I found her voice so calming. Do you record meditations? You do? Okay, because it was so super calming. And everyone just said they felt really inspired, I think, by your words. And they had lots of questions. And you could see all the reflection going on in the chat. People were starting to question lots of different things. So you really got people kind of, you know, thought provoking. It was really good. Yeah, everyone enjoyed it. Thank you.
And then one comment brought up the conversation of intrusive entities, which, you know what, intrusive entities, that can make people feel uncomfortable, because I'm on board with Sue. Like, everything in my mind, in my dream, that's me. But hey, if there's somebody else in my dream, then I need to be honest about intrusive entities, because that's real. That does happen. And then it made me think about Brian's presentation, because he blatantly was advocating that truth is being withheld. Who gets to decide? When does it get decided? Well, we're just left to think that we're going crazy in the meantime. And then it reminds me of a community I used to belong to, where people were upset because they were investigating their family histories and whatnot. And it turned out that, you know, people were literally forced to go on medication, put in mental asylums, even beat up because they thought they were going to beat the spirit out of the body. And it's just like, wow. Imagine Suze Gallagher's presentation was heard for that family or something like that, right? Or being honest about things like intrusive entities, and the humility to admit that we don't even know what we're talking about. We just know it's invasive. It's not part of us, and it's not okay, you know? So I'm getting passionate because I have a problem with intrusive entities. I had countless removed from me. And some of them were actually my dearest spirit guides, but they had to go. They had to go either way, for the sake of their own alchemy. And once they left, they went on their healing journey. And now, randomly here and there, it's like I have an ally, because randomly they're healing at their different rates. And wow, it's just really amazing. I can't say enough, but the next thing on the list was me again, and it was just the thanking people, the return from the pine tree forest, closing sacred space. I forgot to open. Oh, am I on mute? I looked up and everybody was going like this. Okay.
I'm not sure what happened.
Sue's wanted to comment.
Oh, Sue,
Oh,
sorry. I
sorry.
just want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Sue. Sorry.
I just want to say one thing. So everybody really enjoyed your little mini videos, that 6-part series. People really enjoyed it, and you're asking a lot of questions about your methods in the chat, about how you do your readings and what the medicine wheel means. And yeah, so they really enjoyed that. So you should definitely publish them if you haven't already. Put them on your channel. Yeah.
Yes, they were perfect. The only thing I wanted to say was the theme yesterday that touched me so deeply was the use of the word humility. And for me, that is such a spiritual word. That is such a powerful word that we each approach with humility, and we share what we have learned with humility, with an open heart and with a humble spirit. And for me, I was so impressed how each of the speakers touched on that. And you, of course, Gina, used that word, but I use that word that is a sacred principle for me. So I just wanted to say I was so moved by the use of the word, but by the practice that was evident in each speaker. And that, to me, that's part of the alchemy, and it's what resonates for me as the truth when it's presented from a place of a humble spirit. Then that resonates to me with truth. So thank you.
That's great feedback. Julia, were you waving, or was that just a hand motion?
Oh no, that's just me going through my hair. So I'm very autistic.
Now I'm paranoid. Okay. So I'm going to look down in this moment. And thank you for that, because I forgot about those break videos. I would like to offer a course on my gemstone teaching, but I want to do it justice. There's just too much to say. And so I threw those videos together because I just thought it was fun, because every time I do a gemstone reading, I'm explaining it anyways. So yeah, I just and I also thought it would be fun in future conferences to keep that practice up. Like, it doesn't have to be me, but I think it would be fun for one designated person to create like 6 little mini 3 to 5 minute videos, which was hard. The first couple were 3 to 5, but then they were getting a little bit longer. And I actually had to remake the last one because it was going on like 20, half an hour. And I remember thinking, what am I doing? This is just a mini video. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there was one comment in the chat, was that people were interested in your cards, but when they went to look at the price of the cards, they were very expensive. So is there a way that you can make your cards affordable?
Right. So to make the cards affordable, I need to order like 10,000 of them in advance, and then I can sell them for like $10 or $20. That's how those big companies are doing it. So the cards cost, I forget the price offhand, but I put like $50 or $60 increase because that's how much it costs to print the cards, which was very surprising to me. The books on Amazon, they cost about $17 to $25. It depends on how many pages, the color used on the cover. And then I just sell the books for $24 because I published them in 2024. So I wanted to honor that. But the cards, yeah, I found them to be expensive, totally. And then I don't make any money off of it unless I up the price a little bit. And that's why. And you know what? To be blatantly, brutally honest, I don't want just anybody to have a copy of my cards. I don't want this to be some deck that people just put on their shelf and it collects dust. Like, I feel like if somebody's going to make the investment, it's because they want to support me as well. And you know what? Like, if people want to get together and start getting money together so we can get like 10,000 decks and sell them for $10 or whatever it is, it shows you on there too. And also, the deck is just behind here on my bed, but the tin can, the double tin container upped the price a little bit too in comparison to the box as well. I went with the tin can because I thought, you know what, like, I like to put my gemstones in there sometimes. Some people have special bags that they put their cards in. So I just left it flexible. But yeah, it's about $200 for the cards. And then it's about like $30 to have them delivered. So I'm totally open if somebody knows of a more affordable place to get them. And I did look into photocopying them and just packaging them on my own at home, but it would just cost more time and money to do that. So if anybody out there really, really wants a deck, help me find a place that I can upload that onto, because I'm indifferent otherwise, or if somebody out there has a little business that they're running where you print stuff at home, then I'm more than happy to send you my cards, and then you can just print them and, do what you do, right? So yeah. And also I know other people sell cards like Oracle decks and whatnot for $75 to $150. And so I didn't want to be shy to distinguish mine either. And also because my sacred stain is stamped on there. And so, I mean, the original, it's my DNA that's on there, right? But I just felt like, I don't know. I'm not trying to justify the cost. I just thought if people out there are interested in the printing realities, those are the reasons why. So yeah. So thank you for asking that. And I'm glad people actually checked it out. And if anybody buys my deck, I would absolutely be thrilled to be a guest on your show. I promise not to say anything, just to be like a witness observing, or if you want me to say something, or if somebody out there buys my deck and then I'm doing Dreaming with Gemstone Gina and it's time to pull a card, like, you can pull a card and that could be part of it too, right? So I see myself giving my decks away. It's just a matter of me making money too. And then it's all So support me on Buy Me a Coffee. Buy me a coffee. Get in on the membership. Yeah. Yeah. Any other comments? After that, we wrapped up early. We wrapped up a good 20 minutes early yesterday, which was nice. And you know what? We don't have to talk right up until the hour, right? And I commented on that yesterday because I've been part of all kinds of webinars and whatnot where it ends on the hour, but basically people are just kind of aimlessly asking questions, and it's like we don't need to do that, you know. And so and behind the scenes, like I wanted to give just a little space in case we fell behind on the schedule, but it really worked out. It really flowed. So so I'm thrilled. I really don't have anything else to say other than just repeating myself, but I am beyond thankful, beyond beaming, even though I seem kind of tired there. I think I'm going to have a rest kind of day today, but just absolutely thrilled, still processing it. Even with my eyes opened, I'm having like visions of us yesterday here. It's kind of weird seeing the four of you on the screen and not like one and, you know, Julia in the chat and then Linda's like, so any final thoughts from anybody before we sign off here? Just give me a wave, Michael.
I just had a general question thought, and that is the speakers. Are we able to help promote the conference, even though it's over now, but take our presentations out and put them on our own stuff to support you and to bring awareness to the conference that way, as long as we tag the conference?
Yes, absolutely. I think YouTube allows you to download it. It's a big one, but StreamYard allows me to download it. So how it would be too big of a file to send to you. How would I do that? How would you do that? Just download it and edit it on your own? I'm indifferent. I'm just curious.
So what I do is I download like my episodes and I email them over Gmail to the person, and it takes a while to, you know, upload it to the email server, but it allows you to email large files. So it's a little time consuming, but it does work. And then the individual, like I have 2 different programs that I can put it in and it'll trim down to just the part that I want and pull it out. And I think the one important thing though to mention is, even though you're giving the whole conference file, is out of respect to the other speakers, presenters, and to you, I would only use my portion. I don't think it's right to go, yeah, Gina had these great little short videos. Let me help her out and upload those, because I didn't ask you to do that. And so that to me is kind of like a wrong thing to do, even though it's has the intention of helping you, but it's not my material. So I would say if you do share it out, make sure that the person you're sharing it to will only share their portion. You're muted, Gina.
I guess what I'll do is I'll download it on my end, email it to my Gmail to see if I can get that done, and then I guess I'll just connect with you folks in the master chat and reiterate in the master chat just to edit your own part out. Maybe it'll allow me to make multiple edits. I'll play around. It won't be today. I'm making a note as I'm talking. Oh, is Sue, are you waving or? Okay, go ahead, Suze.
I just wanted to ask you, can you add me to the master chat? it goes to Rick, but it doesn't come to me. I don't have that link.
In the master chat, you are Susan O'Connor.
Susan O'Connor Gallagher?
Yep.
Because I get the ones that you send to Rick and to me, but I don't get the master chat.
Oh.
Rick has to forward me those links.
Okay, you were in the master chat. I'm going to add you right now. Okay, well, I'll just make a note there, but I will add you, Sue. I thought you were in there. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Add Sue's. I'm going to miss our master chat. You won't have me hounding you in there anymore. But for the StreamYard, why don't I see, because I'm just kind of tired and brain farting it out, but like on my end, it should be easy for me to like just take Michael's presentation, edit, download, then the next presentation, edit, download, and then I'll just send you those privately, and then nobody has to worry about anything. Yes. Okay, Michael.
I will say I have started playing with StreamYard. It has, when I do the channeling sessions, they're little half-hour blocks, but it generates 6 AI clips where it will give you a title and you can download it if you want to use it. And so you may try to save time and see if you can take the conference video and say, hey, make clips, and if it will break out the presentations for you. Just a time-saving thought I thought I'd throw in.
And I appreciate that. Yesterday, it wouldn't let me generate AI clips, and this morning, same thing. I don't know if it was too long of a thing, but just the other day, I figured out how to edit the AI clip. It's super easy. I don't know how I didn't see that before. But yeah, Michael.
What you can do is when you ask it for the clips, it'll say do manually or automatic. And if you do manual, it pulls up the whole stream and you can drag and time out and space out what you want downloaded, and you can make your own clips out of it.
I will look into that
as a host.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that for sure. Because I know the AI clips, they limit it to have variety. There's like one that's a minute, one that's 10 seconds. Anyways, I'll figure out and I'll play with it. Not today, just to be honest about it. But that's going to be exciting. Yeah. And then the next conference, I mean, let's just settle and resonate with this one. But the next conference is going to be in June. And then there's another one in July, September, and December. So I'm going to be looking forward to all of those. And anybody have any final thoughts before we say goodbye? We've been live for about an hour. No. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, so much. I had a fabulous time yesterday, still buzzing from it. And it's nice to have Julia's face here with us instead of being in the chat. And I really can't thank everybody enough. I'm really thankful. And I just can't say thank you enough. And it sounds like you've got lots of things to look forward to, and lots of things coming up with our community and our soul tribe. And so if you're looking forward to little mini videos, just give me a few days to have some editing fun with StreamYard. And I look forward to the next conference. And Tuesday, Michael is going to be a show on story species, story medicine, extra strength. And so already we're lining things up. And I need more guests for story species, story medicine. So reach out to me Tuesdays, 1:30 Eastern. Would love to have you. Okay, everybody, I'm going to end the stream. Bye for now. Thank you so much. Wishing you all a fabulous day. And thank you for courageously co-dreaming with